What do you do when your retriever stops being as obedient as it used to be? Welcome to Cornerstone Gundog Academy, where you can learn to train your retriever with our online videos. So a big problem that a lot of people run into, and it honestly blindsides them, is when they're working with their dog, they've been training it, they've put a lot of work into the obedience, and you get on down the road and you start going into new skills, and then all of a sudden your dog stops listening as well. And so what do you do? And again, a lot of times this blindsides a lot of people because up until this point, their dog has been doing incredible. It's been doing exactly what they've asked. And then all of a sudden, it's like things have changed. And there's actually quite a few different reasons for that, but a couple of the main ones are, number one, there's an age barrier. So a lot of times if you start with a young dog, as soon as you get it home and you start working it, about the 6-month plus mark, somewhere in there, the dog starts to learn to branch out and wants to explore. And this is a very natural stage, and this is where they want to learn all they can, even if it means not listening. They want to go explore different sights, sounds, and smells. So that's something you just have to be okay with and accustomed with and work with and be patient with. But another thing that happens on down the road even a little further is, let's say you've been training a long time and now you're well into gun dog skills. When you start to go introduce a new skill, and what I mean by new skill, let's say you've been doing all obedience and now you're starting to work on marking and have your dog see the bumper or the bird fall. What happens is the tendency is to be thinking solely on the new thing that you're introducing your dog to, and then you really almost forget about or neglect some of the obedience you've already done, like hill work, extended place, even some steadiness oftentimes gets neglected because, again, the big focus point is the new thing that you're working on with your dog. And it can be very easy just to forget about small details. And it might not seem like a big deal, you know, if your dog's starting to hill a little in front, or maybe if your dog's not sitting on the first command here and there every single time. Because again, in your mind, you're thinking about the new thing that you're working on. But I've got to tell you, this is one of the most missed opportunities in all of retriever training. And that's the fact to fully solidify and work on all the foundation that you've done as you move forward. Never forget and never neglect to stop and make sure that your dog complies completely every single time, especially as you move into new skill sets and introduce new things like marking and lining and all the exciting things that you want to get to with your dog. If you will do that, what it's going to do is it's going to fully solidify all the work you've already done on the foundation, and it's going to really bring it home, and your dog's going to fully learn everything, and it's going to help you be successful as you continue to move forward in the training. If you neglect to do that, what it's going to do is at some point down the road, as you start advancing in the training, it's going to start to turn into a little mess, and you're going to have some trouble controlling your dog. And what you'll end up having to do then is go even further back, take big steps back, and spend time working solely on obedience. So don't do that. Just correct it as you go and make sure that your dog complies every time. And again, the big step on correction here is if your dog starts to not listen or starts to disobey in certain ways, stop what you're doing, correct them, and then have them do it successfully.